In the deepest shadows of the Andromeda Rift, the Obsidian Keep stood untouched for millennia, a colossal asteroid forged into a fortress by the Obsidian Ascendancy. Its walls pulsed with bioluminescent veins, living rock that metabolized cosmic radiation. This was the seat of power for hundreds of alien civilizations, until humanity arrived. Soft hum, echoing ambience. Leo Andera, emissary of the intergalactic conclave, tapped his holopad as the Obsidian delegation filed in. Tall and slender, with crystalline eyes analyzing every microgesture, their sovereign Katir rested atop a floating dais of gemstone. Across the chamber, human ambassador Jaya Lin stood firm, a model of resolute calm. Katir, Jaya's voice carried through the hall. We offer parley, shared knowledge, alliance. Let us join the conclave. A ripple of confusion spread. Katir's crystalline crown glowed. Alliance? You speak of joining after centuries of silent observation. His tone was curious, not mocking. What do you bring, human, that the Obsidian cannot forge ourselves? Pause, subtle metallic clang. Jaya stepped forward. Innovation. Compassion. The willingness to listen. The chamber fell quiet. Then one of the Obsidian delegates hissed, their voice fracturing like breaking glass. Compassion? That weakness led your kind to destroy worlds. Gasps echoed. The assembly leaned in. Jaya raised a hand. It's called learning. We studied your histories, your wars. Yet we chose growth. Our people band together across hundreds of cultures. We bring the unity. Low crescendo music. From the back, an alien diplomat, flat-faced, opalescent skin, snickered. They bring excuses. Another joined, cold steel and empty promises. A ripple of agreement rolled outwards. Jaya's voice softened. I won't lie. We've erred. But we changed. We adapt. She paused, eyes steady. We offer a treaty, access to our archives, cooperation in star route mapping, and a shared defense against cosmic threats. Katir's crystalline eyes flickered. Then a silence so vast it swallowed sound. Finally, humans, present your treaty. Jaya placed a glowing data slate on the dais. It unfolded into a 3D hologram, nebula charts, defense grid schematics, educational exchanges. Gasps of awe. An elder Obsidian, ancient as starlight, leaned in. You propose we teach and you will listen? You submit your technology to oversight. His tone skeptical. Jaya nodded. Mutual transparency. We are not masters, partners. Tension builds. A younger Obsidian diplomat sneered. Or you hope to dominate with kindness. The hall bristled. Jaya's voice rang clearly. If kindness is our blade, it's unsheathed for defense, not conquest. Judge us by our actions. Soft violin note. She added. Send your scholars to our world. Send your scientists. Witness for yourselves. She gestured to Leo. We'll host Delegate Veskai at Earth's Academy. A hush. Katir studied the holograph. Slowly he gestured. We will test you. We will send Veskai. If humans betray transparency, we withdraw. Jaya bowed. Understood. Music swells into hopeful tone. The hall exhaled. Whispers of partnership and hope floated. Katir spoke. Let this be the first step toward cosmic unity or cosmic judgment. Voice over closing. In the Obsidian Keep, amidst crystalline giants and living rock, humanity stood not with saber or shield but with open hand. The galaxy held its breath. This was no conquest. It was an invitation. And only time would tell if unity or rupture lay ahead. The second meeting inside the Obsidian Keep was far colder than the first, and not because of atmosphere regulators. Beneath the polished obsidian walls, ancient mechanisms hummed, monitoring every breath, every vibration, every unspoken thought. The walls themselves remembered betrayals older than human civilization. Ambassador Jaya Lin stood before the gathering again, this time stripped of ceremony. Just a plain envoy among apex species that had watched stars rise and die. Beside her, Leo Andera scrolled through tactical assessments, his every movement recorded by invisible bioscanners woven into the keep's architecture. The Obsidian sovereign Katir loomed once more, their crystalline form refracting the dim light. His voice sliced through the chamber like fractured ice. Your species, human, has danced dangerously with annihilation. War, disease, environmental collapse. His crystalline eyes narrowed. We see a species desperate to outrun its own extinction. Jaya's expression held steady, but beneath her composure, the weight of Earth's history pressed down. The mistakes of old, polluted oceans, scorched skies, and civil wars, played like ghostly echoes behind every diplomatic word. We did nearly destroy ourselves, she admitted, her voice unwavering. But from the brink we forged unity. And now, we reach for the stars not to conquer, but to learn. Katir's expression remained unreadable. A council member from the insectoid Mvar species clicked mandibles sharply. Learning requires humility. Do you possess such a trait, or merely the arrogance of survival? Before Jaya could respond, a hologram flickered to life between them, a projection of Earth's historical scars. Mushroom clouds, famine zones, riot footage. But woven among them were images of hope. Global peace summits, terraforming stations on Mars, children laughing aboard orbital habitats. Leo leaned forward, voice low yet firm. We do not hide from our failures. We present them, scars and all, as proof of growth. His hand gestured toward the holographic Earth. Our unity came through trial, through honest reckoning. The hall murmured, a mixture of skepticism and intrigue. Ancient beings, some with lifespans measured in eons, weighed humanity's fragile proposal. Katir spoke at last. Words are wind in the void. Actions shape empires. His gaze cut to Jaya. Our observer, Veskai, will accompany you to Earth. Should deception hide beneath your unity, the alliance crumbles. Jaya bowed slightly. We welcome scrutiny. The only deception is the belief that we are beyond redemption. Katir's crystalline crown pulsed faintly. You gamble much, human. But courage tempered by vulnerability, perhaps there is wisdom in it. The Obkari turned, voice carrying across the assembly. Let the humans be judged not by proclamations, but by the honesty of their scars. As the delegation dispersed, the ancient walls of the keep hummed with memory. Echoes of extinct empires, fallen alliances, and forgotten betrayals whispered through the stone. And amid those echoes, a fragile hope stirred, one that might, for the first time in 1,000 cycles, rewrite the destiny of a fractured galaxy. The transport vessel Aegis Dawn drifted through the Andromeda Rift, its silver hull reflecting the faint blue glow of distant pulsars. Inside, silence pressed against the crew like a second atmosphere. No chatter. No bravado. Only the low hum of stabilizers and the rhythmic beeping of long-range scanners as the ship carried humanity's boldest emissary and their greatest gamble back toward Earth. At the center of the observation deck stood Veskai, the Obkari observer, encased in a crystalline exoshell that shimmered with every color of the spectrum. The alien's elongated features revealed little emotion, but their multifaceted eyes absorbed everything: the architecture, the crew's tension, the unspoken currents rippling beneath every gesture. Ambassador Jaya Lin stood nearby, her arms folded, watching Veskai study the human vessel. Around them, holodisplays flickered, projecting star maps, conclave agreements, and archived footage of Earth's rise from chaos. You do not speak much, Veskai finally said, their voice layered. Soft yet vibrating with alien undertones that resonated deep in the bones. Is it fear? Or caution? Jaya's reply came calm and measured. Observation is wisdom. Words only matter when spoken with care. Veskai's crystalline head tilted. A curious answer from a species that built its legacy on noise, broadcasts, signals, endless declarations of dominance. The bridge crew stiffened, but Jaya remained composed. She gestured to the stars beyond. We declared our existence not out of arrogance, but hope. We wanted someone to hear us. Veskai's gaze drifted toward the distant swirl of the Milky Way. You are heard now, but hearing is not acceptance. Observation is not trust. Leo Andera approached, datapad in hand, his voice lower, cautious. Then observe everything. Question everything. Judge us by our flaws as much as our progress. The alien's crystalline armor shimmered faintly, absorbing light from the nearby starfield. You invite scrutiny? Few species do so willingly. Jaya's expression didn't falter. We learned that hiding our failures only breeds greater collapse. You've seen our archives. You know the wars, the near extinctions, the fractured governments. Yet here we stand united. Veskai turned, their form refracting light into prismatic halos across the observation deck. Unity forged under duress is fragile. The first fracture reveals the true nature beneath. Silence pressed in again, broken only by the soft hum of engines and the steady pulse of the life support systems. Jaya stepped forward. Perhaps. But fragility acknowledged is strength rebuilt. She met the alien's gaze. We do not claim perfection. We claim the right to prove we've evolved. Veskai regarded her for a long, still moment. We shall see. Their voice lowered, layered tones vibrating across the deck. The Keep remembers all who deceive. If humanity lies. The implication hung in the air, heavy as gravity. But Jaya's voice was steady. Then we deserve the consequences. The observation deck fell silent once more as the Aegis dawn accelerated toward the distant glow of Earth. And in the endless vacuum between stars, an ancient observer measured the fate of an entire species. Not by declarations, but by the hard, fragile truth that scars leave behind. The Aegis dawn broke through the final hyperlane, slipping past the heliospheric boundary like a silent phantom. Earth loomed ahead, a blue marble wrapped in thin clouds and fragile atmospheres, pulsing with artificial satellites and orbital habitats glittering like constellations of human ambition. For the first time in known history, an Obkari, a being from the oldest surviving civilization, would set foot near Earth's cradle. Veskai stood at the viewport, their crystalline exoshell refracting Earth's glow across the observation deck. Their expression unreadable, yet their silence heavier than spoken judgment. Behind them, Jaya Lin coordinated the final diplomatic protocols, while Leo Andera relayed atmospheric clearance codes. Earth's orbital station, Vanguard Prime, dominated the approach path. A massive lattice of steel, solar sails, and gravimetric anchors orbiting 400 kilometers above the planet's surface. It was a testament to human engineering, yet in the eyes of the Obkari observer it was a child's first sculpture, imperfect, unrefined, and woefully young compared to millennia-old constructs of the galactic conclave. The docking clamps locked onto the Aegis dawn with a dull clang. Magnetic bridges extended. Human security teams lined the entryway, tense but disciplined. Every eye, every sensor fixed upon the crystalline figure emerging from the transport. Commander Nadia Brooks, in full diplomatic uniform, met them at the airlock. Her voice clipped, formal. Observer Veskai. Welcome to Vanguard Prime. Veskai's multifaceted eyes swept the chamber. This structure floats above your origin world. It is functional. A pause, their voice vibrating faintly. But its purpose? Brooks exchanged a brief glance with Jaya. A symbol. Defense, science, unity. Veskai's shell glowed faintly, refracting light into spectral fragments. Symbols are often brittle. We shall see if this one holds. The group moved through the station's corridors, past viewing ports revealing the curve of Earth's horizon. Oceans sparkled beneath sunlight. Storms curled like white serpents across the hemispheres. Billions of lives carried on below, unaware their future was now judged by a single alien gaze. They arrived at the station's diplomatic hall, a wide, transparent chamber overlooking the Pacific. Holographic banners hovered, displaying Earth's emblems and conclave insignias. Delegates from Mars, Luna, and the orbital colonies assembled, their expressions tight with anticipation. Jaya took her place at the podium. Observer Veskai will witness Earth's transparency. Our history, our governance, our scars. Nothing hidden. Veskai moved to the center, eyes gleaming. Scars reveal truth. Deception leaves fractures beneath the surface. The hall's lights dimmed. A hollow display ignited, projecting Earth's history. The climate collapse of the 21st century, the resource wars, the great migrations, and the painful, incremental unity that followed. It was raw, unfiltered. Humanity's failures laid bare. Whispers rippled among the delegates. Some recoiled. Others watched with quiet pride. Veskai's expression remained unreadable. Only the faint glow of their crystalline frame shifted, subtle, cautious, curious. As the final image faded, Jaya spoke. Judge us not by perfection, but by our resolve to rebuild. Veskai's voice, soft but resonant, carried across the chamber. We shall see. Night fell across the Earth's eastern hemisphere as the diplomatic session aboard Vanguard Prime adjourned, but sleep was a luxury no one entertained. Below, Earth rotated quietly, cities flickering like neural pathways across the continents, while the station's observation decks remained alight with tension. Veskai lingered alone near the transparent viewport, crystalline exoshell refracting the planet's glow into faint rainbows across the metal walls. They stared silently at the blue world, the birthplace of the species that had dared to approach the galactic conclave with stories of unity and evolution. Jaya Lin approached, her footsteps light, voice softer than the calculated tones used during negotiations. You've seen the scars, the wars, the near-extinction events. I wonder, do you believe we're still worthy of inclusion? Veskai's gaze remained fixed on Earth. Worthy is a dangerous word, Ambassador. In the conclave, survival earns little respect. Only endurance tempered by wisdom secures a place. Their voice layered with subtle harmonics that rippled through the chamber. Jaya folded her arms, choosing her words carefully. We've endured, not flawlessly, but with intention. Veskai finally turned, their multifaceted eyes reflecting fragmented images of Earth's surface. Oceans, deserts, scars of old craters. Endurance without reflection breeds stagnation. Tell me, Jaya Lin, what has your species truly learned? The question hung heavy in the recycled air. For a long moment, Jaya said nothing. Then she exhaled, voice low, honest. We learned that power without compassion burns everything. That knowledge without humility leads to ruin. She paused, her eyes steady. And that survival is meaningless if we refuse to evolve beyond conquest. Veskai's exoshell pulsed faintly, their crystalline form shifting hues like liquid gemstones. Many have made such declarations before your kind. Few meant them. Leo Andera's voice joined from the shadows, quiet but certain. We don't expect you to believe words. That's why you're here, to witness action. Veskai regarded them both. You offer transparency. But transparency often conceals more than it reveals. Jaya stepped closer, her tone sharpening slightly. We've shown you our history, unedited. Our failures, our rebuilding. We didn't polish the truth. We exposed the fractures. Veskai tilted their crystalline head. And yet, the fractures remain. A subtle tension curled through the room. Earth drifted slowly beyond the viewport, delicate, flawed, resilient. Jaya's voice softened once more. The fractures remind us we're still learning. But unity isn't the absence of cracks, it's the will to mend them again and again. Veskai's expressionless shell remained still, yet something imperceptible shifted, an acknowledgement, perhaps buried beneath layers of alien instinct. I will remain, they declared at last. I will observe not your words, but your deeds. Jaya nodded. That's all we've ever asked. Outside, Earth rotated on, imperfect, fragile, yet holding the quiet defiance of a species that refused to collapse beneath its own weight. And far above the planet, watched by an ancient observer, humanity's truest test was only just beginning. 3 Earth rotations passed. In that time, the observer Veskai neither condemned nor praised. They watched. They listened. They dissected every interaction like a surgeon probing an exposed nerve. For humanity, the scrutiny was relentless, but necessary. This was not diplomacy built on polite fiction. It was an autopsy of an entire civilization's soul. On the 4th day, the Obsidian delegation joined Jaya Lin and Leo Andera aboard the orbital vessel Helix Dawn, a research cruiser assigned to patrol the outer edges of Earth's influence. Their mission: demonstrate humanity's scientific transparency, their exploration ethics, and their capacity to evolve beyond primitive ambition. The ship cruised along the asteroid belt, a region scarred by past mining operations, now subject to stringent reclamation treaties. Among the drifting rocks and metallic relics of forgotten corporations, automated drones mapped mineral deposits, repairing ancient environmental damage. Veskai stood silently near the central holo display as data streams filled the air. Terraforming progress reports, asteroid impact. Simulations, resource sustainability projections. Their crystalline form absorbed every byte of information, their multifaceted eyes flickering with unreadable patterns. Leo gestured toward the display. The reclamation protocols exceed conclave minimums by 40%. We harvest resources now without destabilizing orbital mechanics or local biospheres. Veskai's voice hummed with layered tones. A commendable statistic. But numbers can be manipulated. Jaya stepped forward, voice composed. Every data stream is open source. Conclave scientists have real-time access. If we falsified anything, they'd know instantly. Veskai regarded the human displays for a moment longer. Deception rarely hides in data alone. It lurks in intentions. The cruiser adjusted course, approaching the fragment of an ancient derelict, remnants of an early human mining platform abandoned decades prior. Its rusted hull and jagged edges floated like the skeleton of a bygone era. Jaya gestured. That station nearly triggered orbital debris cascades that would have crippled this sector. We could have concealed it. Instead, we left it visible, a reminder of recklessness. Veskai tilted their head slightly. Most species erase such evidence, rewrite history. You expose yours. Leo's voice softened. Because pretending we never failed makes failure inevitable. A long silence stretched between them, filled only by the low hum of the ship's engines and the faint ping of asteroid scanners. Then Veskai's crystalline exoshell pulsed, a faint ripple of bioluminescence cascading across their surface. Perhaps your species understands consequence more than I anticipated. Jaya met the alien's gaze evenly. We understand consequence, observer. The question is, can we survive beyond it? The cruiser drifted onward through the asteroid belt, past scars of human ambition, past lessons etched in cold metal and fractured rock. And in the silent vacuum beyond, an ancient judge watched with cautious intrigue, as humanity laid bare not their victories, but their failures. The silence of deep space wrapped around the cruiser helix dawn like a shroud, broken only by the faint hum of gravitic stabilizers and the occasional ping from distant observation buoys. Beyond the armored viewports, the asteroid belt drifted, ancient fragments of cosmic collisions, drifting silently between Mars and Jupiter, indifferent to the ambitions of any species. Inside the command deck, observer Veskai stood unmoving, crystalline frame pulsing with faint bioluminescent energy, absorbing every detail with surgical precision. They had seen the reclamation drones, the repaired orbital pathways, the environmental data streams, surface evidence of humanity's self-proclaimed evolution. But now came the deeper examination, the test of intent. Jaya Lin led the way into the ship's research wing, where a team of xenobiologists and planetary scientists worked under the glare of artificial sunlight. Holoscreens projected live readings from Europa's ice sheets and Titan's methane lakes, showcasing humanity's cautious approach to exploration. Probes sent first, habitats only after biological risk assessments confirmed minimal disruption. Veskai drifted through the lab, their form refracting the glow of the monitors, ice-scanning streams of genetic data, ecological models, and planetary ethics protocols. Their voice, when it came, rippled with layered undertones. You preach restraint, yet your species is driven by expansion. A paradox or a lie? Jaya exchanged a look with Leo and Dara, then stepped forward. Expansion doesn't have to mean exploitation. We've learned to ask the question most civilizations forget, should we? Not just, can we? The alien's crystalline head tilted. Few resist the gravity of conquest. Leo's voice cut in steady. We've resisted it with scars. You saw our history. Every time we overreached, disaster. We didn't evolve by choice. We evolved because survival demanded it. Veskai paused near a containment unit housing Europa microbe simulations, their exoshell shimmering faintly. You engineer safeguards. You build limitations into your systems. But limitations can be circumvented. Jaya's gaze sharpened. We know. That's why we made those limitations public. Every conclave species can monitor us. The lab's lights dimmed as a hologram ignited, Earth's outer colonies, their development schedules delayed by biological uncertainty. Plans postponed. Resources redirected. All documented, visible to every species that cared to look. Veskai studied the projections. You sacrifice efficiency for caution? Leo nodded. Caution isn't weakness. It's responsibility. A long silence stretched between them as the distant stars shimmered beyond the observation panels. Then, slowly, Veskai's crystalline form pulsed once more, a faint acknowledgement, or perhaps curiosity unspoken. You gamble much, the observer said at last. To trade speed for ethics. To expose your scars, your failures, your doubts. Jaya's voice was steady. We've learned that strength without reflection ends in extinction. Veskai regarded them both in silence, the ancient weight of the conclave's expectations lingering like the cold of deep space. Finally, they turned toward the viewport, watching as the asteroid belt drifted by, a remnants of creation, fragments of destruction, silent witnesses to a fragile species daring to defy its past. And in that silence, the fate of humanity remained unwritten, but for the first time, perhaps, not unwitnessed. The Helix Dawn shifted course, its gravitic thrusters humming softly as it approached the outer rim of the Mars colonies. Red soil, once untouched for billions of years, now bore the faint scars of human habitation. Geodesic domes glinting under artificial suns, atmospheric processors humming faintly, dust storms weaving across crimson plains like restless ghosts. Veskai stood in the observation chamber, crystalline frame refracting the ochre glow of the Martian surface, expression unreadable as always. Their gaze lingered on the domed habitats and sprawling research outposts, silently calculating, silently judging. This was not Earth's cradle of life, but the first real test of human expansion beyond its own wounded world. Jaya Lin and Leo Andara stood beside the observer, shoulders tense beneath the weight of generations. Every decision made on Mars, every flaw, every ethical failure, it all stood now as evidence, exposed under the scrutiny of a civilization so old its archives contained the memories of extinct stars. The shuttle detached from Helix Dawn, gliding toward Mars' surface. Inside, a silence lingered between them, not of fear, but of understanding. This was no longer a negotiation of words, but of actions etched into Martian soil. Touchdown came with a hiss of atmosphere. The colony's governor, Suri Patel, greeted them at the landing platform, her eyes sharp, her posture composed. Around them, habitat modules sprawled across the landscape, some sleek and gleaming, others weathered from decades of survival in the harsh Martian climate. Veskai's gaze swept the colony. A fragile foothold, they observed, voice layered with soft, harmonic undertones. Your species builds on unstable ground. Governor Patel's reply was immediate. Every foundation is fragile until we reinforce it. They led the group through the colony, the hydroponic farms sustaining life beneath pressurized domes, the education centers where children learn not conquest but preservation, and the scarred memorial wall, etched with the names of those lost to Mars' early failures. Veskai paused at the memorial, crystalline eyes lingering over the engraved names. You display your dead? Jaya stepped beside them, voice low. We honor them. Their mistakes, their sacrifices. They remind us how easily we fail when ambition outpaces caution. Veskai's shell pulsed faintly, bioluminescence shimmering like starlight. Most species bury such reminders. You elevate them. The tour continued, revealing reclamation projects, waste converted to resources, ecosystems engineered with minimal disruption, every experiment regulated under the watchful eyes of conclave observers. Finally, at the colony's central atrium, Veskai turned to face them. Your expansion is slow. Hesitant. You hinder yourselves with self-imposed restraint. Leo's reply was quiet, resolute. Restraint isn't hindrance. It's survival. Veskai regarded the colony one last time, the flickering domes, the fragile systems, the human determination woven into every structure. We shall see, they declared. The galaxy does not reward hesitation. But perhaps it spares those who remember. Above them, Mars rotated beneath distant stars, its crimson plains whispering the forgotten failures of pioneers and the uncertain hope of those still daring to remain.